In this vlog, we will get into details on Kotlin SmartCast. So previous tutorials also we have discussed there is a superclass in Kotlin called any, using which we can specify a variable here. So variable of type any variable can accept a number or a string or a double value. So anything we can provide to this particular variable which is defined of type any here. So in SmartCast, compiler will track the if condition. If there is no errors, then the compiler will go ahead and compile the code. So for example, you have provided a variable and it is of a different type. So for example, you have provided a variable of a string and you are trying to typecast it to an integer and you are trying to print the code, then you will be getting an error. So we will be dealing this particular topic in today's tutorial and see how we can eradicate these types of errors in our Kotlin programming. For example, you have created an object of type string here and you have specified a value for it, and now you try to run this particular code, and here we are sure that the object is of type string and also the value is provided here, so there is no issue or any error currently. But for example, you have provided data type to be any and you have not provided the value at the time of initialization, but later you try to provide the value like for example, let us provide the value to be 123 here. Because we have not specifically provided the data type to be string or integer or float or double or anything, just we have provided it to be any, and later on we have provided the value to our variable because we are using var here. So when you are using val, you need to provide at the time of initialization only, but when you are using var, you can provide later also. So here in this case, you want to use this object to perform an operation which will accept only strings. So in this particular operation, if you try to pass this object, it is containing an integer value, then it might result in an error. So sometimes it may also crash your entire application. So you can do in this scenario like if object is string, then you can perform this particular operation like this is a string variable. Else if object is int, then you can provide a print condition like this is a integer. So now when you try to run this particular code, now here you can observe the output, this is an integer. Why? Because obj variable is having a value 123. So using our SmartCast, so we are making use of an operator is to know the data type of the value which we have provided inside our variable. So currently 123 is of a type integer, so it has gone through the else if condition and printed this particular line. So if you have changed it back to a string and try to run this particular code, then our Kotlin compiler will recognize this particular value and its data type, and it will pass this as a string variable. So using is operator we can do so, and also you can have a not equal to symbol here. So if the object is not equal to string, and now when you try to provide an integer value here, so now which particular print statement will be printed? Any guesses? So now let's try to run and see. So some of you might think that it is an integer, so the second block of code will get printed. But here if you need to observe the operator which we have specified not equal to string. So 123 is not equal to string, so the first line of print statement will be printed instead of the second one, even though the object is of type integer, but here our if condition is true, so this particular block of code is printed and it will skip the remaining blocks of code. So this is a topic of smart cast in Kotlin. So now we will try to see the another way of typecasting, that is explicit typecasting, and here we will make use of the operator as. So here we declare a variable of abc and this is of type string here, and we have specified some value inside, which like I am specifying it to be Kotlin, and I have also have one more variable tef. I am specifying it to be a string, but I will be initializing the value as abc as string. So here I am considering the variable abc and I am casting it as a string data type here. And now if you try to print def, then here we will be getting an output Kotlin. Why? Because the variable abc is of a string, and so we are typecasting it to be a string in this particular scenario. So there is no issue or error currently. But here let us consider this to be an integer value like 1 2 3, and in the second variable you are declaring it as a string here, so you are typecasting abc as string, but what is abc exactly is an integer. So if you try to run it now, you will be getting an error. It is showing that integer cannot be cached to string. So here you are casting an integer variable as a string and you are trying to print the value. Even if you are trying to print a null here, and now if you try to run this code, you are trying to typecast a null as a string. So here you will be getting an error like null cannot be cached to non-null type Kotlin string. So this process is called as unsafe cached operator. So now we will be seeing safe cached operator. So in the safe cached operator, we will be looking for a variable object1, and this is of a type string, and you are providing a string value here. And the second variable, this is of a type int, and here you are trying to specify obj as integer. Here you are trying to specify object1 as integer. Now if you try to run this code, you will be getting an error as we have seen in the above example. So you need to have a safe call operator here. So now try to run the code and check the output. Here you are getting null. Why? Because a string cannot be typecasted as an integer. As we have provided a safe call operator here, it returned a null instead of crashing our program. So if you specify this to be a string now, then you will be getting an output string. And even now if you have specified a null here and try to run this code, then also you will not get any error here. It will be returning a null only. So this is a safe cached operator using as operator.